All right, thank you for joining me here tonight. We got another little update here on Hurricane Beryl because I know there's a lot of people out there that still have questions about this monster storm. Currently, it is a low-end Category 4 hurricane that just ripped through Jamaica, causing some significant damage and even some fatalities, which is obviously pretty sad stuff to see. And again, Beryl is not going to be done anytime soon. It's going to continue. It's going to head up into the Gulf of Mexico. It's, again, going to potentially even make a U.S. landfall, which we are going to be discussing in this live stream here. So if you guys are excited for this, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe so that we can help spread the message, because, again, there are a lot of people that are worried about this and that want answers about Hurricane Beryl, all right? So truthfully, we don't know exactly what is going to happen with it right now. All we know is that it is a major Category 4 hurricane, slowly weakening as it just crossed through Jamaica. Again, wind shear is slowly tearing this beast apart, but it is still pretty intense here, and it's going to make its way up towards areas like Cancun and potentially make some impacts up there in terms of storm surge, flooding, rains, and high winds. It's going to head into the Gulf of Mexico, and by the time that it reaches the Bay of Campeche, it will be at its weakest point, alright? We're expecting at that point that it'll only be a low-end tropical storm. The next National Hurricane Center update doesn't come out until, I believe, 1 a.m., so we're obviously not going to be live for that long, but yeah, the next, and if you're just wondering, 1 a.m. Central is when the next National Hurricane Center update comes out. Stay away, RT, but yeah, Tropical Storm Beryl, again, we're expecting it to be at a, sustained wind, a point where its sustained winds are only about 60 miles an hour and its maximum gusts are only about 70 miles an hour. And again, that's as it enters the Bay of Campeche, right? But it will re-strengthen as it enters the Gulf of Mexico and most likely re-strengthen into a Category 1, maybe a low-end Category 2 hurricane. And right now, the most likely scenario is that this makes landfall in northeast Mexico and rides its way up towards Texas pretty quickly again as a Category 1 hurricane, tropical storm, Category 2 hurricane. I'd put it anywhere in that zone there, from anywhere from tropical storm to Category 2 hurricane at landfall there in Mexico. So that's kind of my prediction right now. And again, I do kind of like the cone that the National Hurricane Center is giving here. A lot of the models are suggesting that we're going to see a landfall in this area, which again I think is probably the most likely scenario. Again, an important thing to note is that wind shear is pretty slowly tearing this thing apart, but it is it's noticeable, all right? By the time that we wake up tomorrow, we're expected to have a Category 3 hurricane on our hands with sustained winds of 120 miles per hour and maximum gusts of 150 miles per hour. And again, that is going to continue to head northwestward here and again slowly get torn apart. By tomorrow night, we're probably only looking at a Category 2 hurricane, and then by Friday morning, again, we're expecting it to be at one of its weakest points in its life cycle as a Category 1 hurricane, making landfall just to the south of Cancun here, alright? So, again, after that, it's going to ride its way into the Gulf of Mexico here, re-strengthen, and make an impact on portions of northeast Mexico and southern Texas. Now, there is still the odd model or two saying that this enters somewhere further eastward, alright? Maybe like Louisiana, eastern Texas. Now, that's a possibility, it is, but it's a low chance, all right? We can't rule it out, but it's a low chance. I'd say it's maybe a 10 to 15% chance at this point. The chance of it going anywhere east of that, like in the Florida Panhandle, at this point, this is a 5% chance for me. I don't think it's going to happen. Again, we can't completely rule it out, but it's a very, very low chance. It really depends on what it does over the next 24 to 48 hours here as it enters the Bay of Campeche. So we'll see there. But again, I think the most likely scenario is we see a landfall over here, and, I'd give that probably a 75, maybe an 80% chance, or 80 or 85% chance there. So that is the most likely scenario as of right now. So if anybody has any questions about the location, feel free to leave those down below. That's what we're here for. If you tuned into our stream the other night, this is going to be pretty similar to that. Just another Hurricane Beryl update here. Sorry, I got to give my voice a rest. But yeah, I mean, if we take a look at it on satellite, we can see it's not as impressive as it has been. The eye is slowly but surely becoming less noticeable here. It's just a little bit, less impressive in terms of its actual hurricane shape there. But it definitely still has those typical hurricane characteristics there. You wonder the same? Yeah, I appreciate it. But this is going to, again, head northwestward here. And most likely enter the Gulf, again, at a high-end tropical storm force strength. maybe a moderate tropical storm force strength. It's really not going to be super intense here by the time it gets into the Bay of Campeche. But again, we're expecting a little bit of strengthening to occur. So anybody out there that's wondering, in South Texas, will it travel east or west after landfall? So if you're talking about its next landfall here, it's probably going to travel westward, right? But if you're talking about the United States landfall, that's actually a really good question, right? So before, a lot of the models were saying it was going to head eastward into more portions of kind of, however you would describe this area, the lower Mississippi Valley. Some of them were even throwing it all the way up into the mid-Mississippi Valley, all right? And a lot of the models now, though, are trending more towards this heading westward, actually. So it's going to depend. We have a lot of model disagreements on this because, again, it is so far out, but we'll start to become more and more confident about what we're talking about here later into its lifespan, right? So anything for Houston? Yeah, I mean, it's looking like Houston's got a good chance to see something, I'd say, at this point. The chance of you getting somewhat impacted by any way in this storm is probably about a 75% chance or higher. Sorry, I gotta give my voice a rest. But no, I think that Houston is probably going to get, again, probably a tropical storm force strength storm. But I do think that it's mainly going to be an outer band problem for you guys. So I think that actually the flooding rains and actually an isolated tornado threat would be the greatest threats for the Houston area. Now, the problem with this is I'm not going to be able to cover it live whenever it makes landfall in the United States. I'm very sorry about it, but again, YouTubers like Roman the Weather Guy will be live there, so make sure that you go tune into his channel for the landfall. But again, I'm not going to be able to go live, unfortunately, which really, really bummed me out. Originally, I was thinking that I was going to, but unfortunately now it's looking like not so much. I'm probably still going to be posting video updates on it and community tab updates on it, but I will not be able to go live, so that kind of stinks. But yeah, I think that Houston's probably going to see some impacts. Again, mainly flooding rain and isolated tornado threat for you guys, maybe also some damaging wind action. But yeah, the tornado threat's not like skyrocketing high, but again, I'd say that maybe there's a 5% chance that Houston gets a tornado. Falling into Houston Saturday, yeah, that's going to be an interesting time zone. It should still be in the Gulf by that time, but it's going to be pretty close. But yeah, it should still be in the Bay of Campeche, actually, at that point. Somewhere in there. Oh, Freddie McKinney's here. That's always exciting. You're heading to Brownsville? Yeah, Brownsville is probably going to be one of our spots that sees a direct impact from either a low-end hurricane or a high-end tropical storm, and Storm Runner Media is here. That's amazing. I still can't believe that you guys tuned into the streams. That's crazy. Thank you, guys. That's awesome. Still in shock. That's so cool. But, yeah, I mean, again, right now it's just low-end Category 4 hurricane. It's going to weaken and weaken very slowly. Can I show the spaghetti models? I think I can. Let me try and find those. Tracking the tropics. Give me just a second here. Sorry. Trying to find them. Hurricane Beryl. Sorry. Go ahead and get that on your screen in just a second. Again, I'm trying to find the website. Never remember which one it is. I had it bookmarked at one point, but then I was like, oh, I'll remember what it's called, so I'll just get rid of it, but that was a stupid idea, obviously. Images. Let me go and do a quick chat update here. That's so cool. Again, I appreciate all you guys for making that kind of thing possible. It's kind of cool to have my idols in my chat. That's pretty awesome. Hurricane Beryl spaghetti models. Okay, well, this isn't the exact photo that I was looking for, but this is, these are the spaghetti models, so give me just a second here. Alright. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up on your screen. So again, a lot of the models are saying that it goes through, whoops, okay, that was great. A lot of the models are saying that it goes through this general area. Alright, it goes close to the Cayman Islands. Probably doesn't make a direct landfall there though. Then it goes into the Bay of Campeche, then goes into the Gulf, and then again, once we get to this point, there's a little bit of disagreements between the models here. Alright, some of them are painting this, even making landfall in northeast Mexico with very little Texas impacts. Others are saying that this could make landfall again as far east as, central Louisiana, which I think at this point is, again, a very low chance. But it's a possibility, it is. But again, most of the models actually are saying that it's going to be a northeast Mexico landfall, which I agree with. And then a lot of them are saying that it curves eastward after that, right? So we even have some models going as far out to the Tennessee area. And I'm not trying to get, the really long track spaghetti models. If somebody's really interested in them, I could probably find them here. But yeah, for right now, that's just the general idea. A lot of the long-range spaghetti noodle models are quite inaccurate anyway, because again, we are still so far out from this having a U.S. impact. That's just going to take a while. Do I think it'll make landfall in Texas? I do not. I think it'll be a northeast Mexico landfall. But again, I am expecting Texas impacts, as I think once it makes landfall in Mexico, it's going to travel into Texas. But yeah. Let's go and take a look at the GFS. Why not? I don't think I've looked at the newest run, so again, this is Hurricane Beryl right now. Alright, it's on a weakening trend, but again, it's still a low-end Category 4 hurricane. Again, it's going to get slowly but surely tore apart by wind shear here, and by the time it makes landfall, it really takes a bite. Alright, now the GFS is painting this actually a little further north than the National Hurricane Center's exact track of this thing, but it's still in the general cone of uncertainty there, right? So we can see by the time this reaches the Gulf, it's actually pretty unorganized, but again, it will re-strengthen by the time that it reaches the northwest portion of the Gulf, most likely at its landfall, where again, the GFS is saying extreme northeast Mexico, maybe extreme southern Texas. So yeah, again, as Roman just put in chat there, again, Beryl had confirmed 16 fatalities and over $1 billion in damage in the Antilles alone, I believe. So that's pretty crazy stuff, pretty sad stuff. And again, we're still dealing with a major hurricane here, so obviously we can expect some more of those impacts on some of these areas out ahead of the storm. Again, probably not going to be quite as dramatic, but still some pretty scary stuff to see. But remember, don't be scared, be prepared. Again, we're going to be live here quite a bit for Hurricane Beryl coverage over the next few days, and we're just going to be giving you the latest forecast details. I'm going to be giving you my opinion, the National Hurricane Center's opinion, what all the models are saying. Again, we're here to answer any questions right now. That is why I am here, to answer anybody's questions that they may have about this storm, what it's going to do, where it's going to go. Obviously, we had a lot of Jamaican viewers last stream. There's probably a lot of power outages in Jamaica, so it's probably a low chance at this point that we have anybody tuning in from Jamaica after the storm. But again, hopefully all those viewers that we had are doing okay, because again, we were not expecting a Jamaican impact that drastically, but I did kind of mention that it was a possibility that this was going to be stronger than the National Hurricane Center was saying, just because it doesn't seem to be weakening quite as fast as what they were originally thinking, right? But anyway, no, you're good. You didn't really miss much. Repost a picture of this hurricane moving towards northeast Alabama. Is this what's going to happen? Did he actually post that? I think that there's one model or two models maybe on the long track spaghetti noodles that are saying that this maybe enters northeast Alabama. But again, if it does, it's going to be a weak tropical storm at best, most likely a tropical depression. So I don't think you have too much to worry about in northeast Alabama. Again, maybe you get some showers and thunderstorms from Beryl here, but it's not going to be literally anything like what we saw back in the Antilles or, into Puerto Rico, or Jamaica. Puerto Rico didn't get hit that hard, but they got some of the outer bands, and it was pretty devastating, so... Yeah, I doubt it too, but it could. There's always that small chance. Again, a more likely scenario that this, makes a direct northern Alabama impact would be if this does make landfall in central Louisiana, like one of the spaghetti models we're painting the picture for at this point. But again, that was one model, all right, out of the dozens that graphic had there. So, again, it's a low chance that we see any sort of major northern Alabama impacts again. At this point, what I think is going to happen, all right, I got a bold prediction here. I think it's going to make landfall as a Category 1, maybe low in Cat 2 strength here in northeast Mexico. The reason that I'm saying maybe low in Cat 2 is because, again, this Beryl is a beast, all right? It is not weakening at all like the National Hurricane Center said it was going to be by now. By this point, all right, even just yesterday, they were saying that it was going to be a Cat 2 already, and we still have a Category 4. So don't, just take this with a grain of salt, obviously, all right, that it says Category 1 here at landfall. I think it could be Category 2, but there's always the chance that it's only a Category 1 if wind shear really just bites everything out of this thing. And I think then afterwards, it's actually going to track westward, like some of the models have been saying a little bit more recently here. So, again, we'll see what happens, but that's my prediction as of right now. Sorry, I know my voice is really shaky. I've been talking for 16 minutes straight. Whew. Will I be live tomorrow? Yes. I'll be live tomorrow for at least 2 streams. Obviously it's 4th of July, so I'm going to try and spend some family time, but we'll be live for severe weather coverage. We've got ourselves a dual slight risk tomorrow across parts of both the mid and the upper Mississippi Valley. And then we've also got ourselves, again, a Beryl update that we're going to have scheduled for tomorrow night, probably at around 10 p.m., probably not quite as late as we're doing it tonight. So yeah. So let me give my voice a rest here. Then I'll keep rambling on. But yeah, I mean, now we've got confirmation that apparently Storm Chasers Freddie McKinney and Storm Intermediate are going to be going down to Brownsville, Texas. I don't know if that was already, if they'd said that anywhere else, but now you know. But yeah, again, dual slate risk for tomorrow. On July 4th here, so we'll be live for some severe weather coverage. Again, the main threat, unlike our past few events, the main threat is not going to be tornadoes, alright? Maybe a couple of brief tornadoes here up into Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and then maybe a brief tornado or two down into Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. But, again, the greater risks are going to be damaging winds down into the mid-Mississippi Valley, and then once you get to the upper Mississippi Valley, it's going to be mostly a hail risk. It's an interesting scenario where, depending on which mode you're in here, you're going to have different threats, quite significantly different threats. There's a couple models on the spaghetti that say it'll make landfall in southern Louisiana. Okay, I might have been looking at an outdated thing, because again, for some reason, I cannot find for the life of me the official National Hurricane Center's, the spaghetti models, not the National Hurricane Centers, but the spaghetti models, the official website where you can find those. Give me just a second here. I'm trying to find those official spaghetti models. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, Roman. I genuinely could not remember for the life of me. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, so we actually do have 2 models that throw it into Louisiana there. But, again, nothing super definitive. It's kind of crazy how far out these models project here. I mean, they go throughout what they think its entire lifespan is going to be, I believe. So that is ridiculous. That's crazy. We've even got it's weird. There's models saying that we've got a Massachusetts impact on our hands, or at least it'll make it up as a low pressure system to Massachusetts, and then we've got other models saying that it'll actually head for New Mexico. It's interesting. Whenever you're looking at these kind of things this far out, again, take that all with a grain of salt, guys. Again, we legitimately have no idea what is going to happen, other than we have a grasp on where the U.S. landfall / Mexico landfall is going to be. Outside of that, we know nothing. We're too far out. I hate to be the guy that's like, oh, well, maybe it'll do this, or maybe it'll do that, but that's all I can say. I can't tell you anything with full confidence. Again, I can give you my opinion, I can give you the National Hurricane Center's opinion, I can give you the spaghetti model's opinions, but we don't know anything for a fact. If it stays stronger, will it go more north? Yeah, I mean, if it does, but, yeah, I mean, there's not a good chance that it really stays Category 4 for too much longer. Again, I think at the next update it'll be a high in Category 3, but man, did it stay Category 4 for a long time. I mean, it's just crazy, because the setup that we had out here in the Caribbean that led to this thing becoming the earliest Cat 5 of all time, it's just insane. I mean, we had hurricane, SST. We had SSTs out here that were, on par with what we see in September. So it's ridiculous. I mean, it's crazy. And again, obviously the La Nina helped out a ton with the limited wind shear. But again, the limited wind shear that is out there is going to slowly but surely tear the storm apart, and we can already see that happening. Again, it's not quite as impressive on the satellite imagery anymore, and then also, it's expected to weaken even further here over the next few days. What's up, Sam? Yep, still got ourselves a Category 4. It's crazy. It's an interesting one to watch. Might intensify again in the Gulf. Yeah, that's actually what I'm expecting, and that's what the National Hurricane Center is expecting. It's saying it's going to intensify again in the Gulf, and then we're going to expect a Cat 1 landfall here in Mexico and Texas. Will there be a lot of shear in the Gulf? Well, there's not going to be a ton entering the Gulf, but there could be some. But again, the reason we're expecting it to strengthen again in the Gulf is because of the limited shear once more. How fast is she moving west? Let's check that out. We can actually see that on there right now. Hurricane Beryl speed. Let me look at the National Hurricane Center. Sorry. It's moving off to the west here at, it looks like 21 miles an hour. 18 knots, which for a regular thunderstorm, that would actually be really, really slow. But for a hurricane, I mean, that's quick. All right, normally we see 10, 15 mile an hour movements, and that's still in, relatively decently speed hurricanes. But whenever we're talking about over 20 miles an hour, that's kind of crazy for a hurricane. And again, that's going to make it so that there's not very much time for the wind shear to tear this apart. It's really going to act fast if it's going to weaken out Hurricane Beryl any further. But yeah. Went to the movies, then had scallops, then went to the mall and bought some new AirPods. Sounds like you had a pretty great day. My day was pretty good. I did a lot of nothingness today. Did a stream, got some filming done. Went to the gym, but that's it. So I don't know. I like more relaxed days though. I played a lot of Storm Tracker Remastered on Roblox. Roman made me try it, and it's funny because it's like one of those games that you can tell is it's kind of ridiculous, but it's also kind of addicting. So it's definitely not as good as like Twisted or anything, but it's different than Twisted, you know. Can't wait for the new Twister movie. I know. I'm seeing advertisements for it everywhere, and I'm excited. I'm ready. It looks like it's gonna be pretty similar to the original movie from what I can tell. I mean, obviously it's just a sequel, so. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's a good game, it is. Any game that can get me to play for multiple hours a day, it's a good game. So, again, some of the models are saying that we get a bit more of an easterly track than what the National Hurricane Center cone is saying. But again, it's all just speculation. Again, I know we've been saying that for so long with this system, but after it enters the Bay of Campeche, we are going to know so much more about what it's going to do. We're going to have an almost perfect idea of what it's going to do. So if you come back for the Friday night update that we're going to have, because we're going to be doing an update every night for a while here. If you come back Friday night, we will know a lot more than what we know now. We're even going to know somewhat what it's going to do further inland. We're going to know about the same amount about what it's going to do further inland as we do now about where it's going to make landfall. It will be good, but it can't be the first one with Bill Paxton. Be cool to watch it. I remember watching the OG Twister, but as a kid you freaked out. Here's the thing. I like Twister. I don't think it's incredible, but I like it. You'd think that I would be like all over it, but it's the best weather movie, but sadly there's not a lot of high budget, like actually good weather movies. They're all kind of like small productions with low budgets and pretty terrible CGI. I think Twister was cool, but if it leaned a little bit further, see, how do I say this? Because I know it's what the public wanted, right? Not everybody is a crazy person like me. No, not everybody, though, is, as into the nerdy science behind it as me. So I would have liked it if they leaned a little bit further into that aspect of the film, but I know a lot of people like it how it is, and I definitely understand that, so I think it was good. Bad CGI like Sharknado. Gosh. Yeah, for me personally, I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I'd watch it again. Wouldn't be my first choice, but it's a good movie. And again, I think it's the best weather movie you'll find. But as we are getting better and better CGI technology, I think that more of these tornado films are going to start to rise. I don't know. There's just not a lot of good weather movies, unfortunately. Old movies just seem different, but maybe it's nostalgia. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's something charming about older movies. Maybe just the simplicity of them. Before every movie needed to have, $3 billion budgets to make them good movies. Now, you may be wondering, why do we not have an update last night? It's because I was playing Twisted. So, yeah. Do you think that the second wave could form later on? I don't know. Whenever Beryl was first developing, alright, the disturbance behind it, we had so much confidence that that was going to be Debbie. And then, slowly but surely, the confidence dropped that it was going to do anything at all. And now the National Hurricane Center has it highlighted as a 20% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone in the next 7 days. So at this point, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if it seems like I'm replying to the chat messages late, it's just because you're hearing me say stuff 20 seconds after I say it because of stream delay. If you want to fix that, though, what you can actually do is go into the little settings, the little gear icon in the bottom right-hand corner of the stream, and put your speed up to 2 times. If you know how to speed up a YouTube video, it's just like that. If you put it up to 2 times speed, that'll cut the stream delay down to about anywhere between 3 and 5 seconds. So then you'll get much quicker responses if you ask something in chat. Just a little tip right there. Right now it's a minimum SLP of 961, which is not nearly as low as what we were dealing with a couple nights ago. We do still have some severe storms in the parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Yeah, the eye is not very noticeable at this point. It's seen better days, and by better days I mean yesterday and 2 days ago. It really doesn't look that impressive on the satellite imagery anymore, but it's pretty strong. I think it's just because we're used to seeing it as a monster Cat 5 with an incredible looking eye wall and everything. And again, whenever we start getting to like low end Category 4, it almost looks like a weak system, even though it's not by any means. This is quite the opposite of a weak system. Yep. Could change. Tomorrow we could have ourselves a beautiful looking hurricane. Yeah, I don't know, there's not a lot to talk about at this point. Chat, should we turn this into a severe weather coverage stream? I don't know, we're probably going to end off pretty soon. What's the landfall time there for Cancun? That is a good question. So, we're actually not expecting a Cancun landfall at all, but we are expecting that it will be to the south of Cancun at Friday at 7 a.m. What inspired me to get into meteorology? There was a big tornado outbreak last year that, I don't want to get too specific, but it hit close to home, so whenever something like that just happened, I remember in the morning, I was already looking at the weather more than the average person does, but it was that morning that I realized that I was going to be into this for the rest of my life, and I think I still will be, so ever since then I've been hooked. I don't know what it was, but it was crazy. I just realized I'm actually interested in this, so I, tried to teach myself as well as I could, and I watched people like Ryan Hall live. That was the first ever, severe weather coverage streamer that I watched was Ryan Hall. Um, but yeah, again, I can't get too specific, but it was crazy. It close to home, so pretty scary stuff. But I think in general it inspired me to do this, and now we can help a bunch of people. Hope I go a long way. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, again, hopefully this can be a career option one day. But literally, I'm just happy to keep doing this, every day. For the foreseeable future, it's not about money. I don't think it'll strengthen, Sam. I think at this point it is a very, very low chance that it strengthens. I understand why you may think that, but gosh, that would be something if it just strengthened up to like a category 5 again somehow. Okay. Yep. It's pretty funny though. Again, because we always do these late at night, we're never actually able to see Beryl. But we're still getting more severe warnings here in Kansas. Yeah, I think by, tomorrow we're going to know whether or not it's going to. I think by tomorrow we are for sure 100% going to be starting our weakening trend. Or, I mean, we already are, but I think after tomorrow, after the next 24 hours ends, I think there's a 0% chance that this starts to strengthen again. 0%. Well, I shouldn't say that because it's going to weaken out a ton and then strengthen a little bit in the Gulf of Mexico, but how do I say this? In 24 hours, it's going to be the highest that it'll be for the rest of its life. Not the highest it has been, but the highest that it will be, if that makes sense. Good night, stay away, RT. Just want to reemphasize. Why does it do that? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I just want to reemphasize. If you are, scrolling on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or X or Snapchat or whatever you're watching, and you see somebody say that this is going to strengthen again to a Category 5 and, make landfall in the Big Bend of Florida, they are lying. There's a 0% chance that that happens at this point. Again, there's people that do that with every single tropical system, every severe weather outbreak. There's always that person. So just make sure you're getting your info from officials. Make sure that you can trust the sources you're getting your information from. And just don't listen to everything you see on the internet. I feel like that should be some pretty basic knowledge there. But not everything you see on the internet is true. Yeah, I think that after it goes below Category 3 strength, I don't think it'll get up to that again. I think at best, or I guess I should say at worst, but at best for the hurricane, it gets up to Cat 2 at landfall here. And again, even then, that's an unlikely scenario, maybe a 30% chance at this point, but I do think that it's a good probability. It's not totally out of the picture. Yeah, I've never uh, wanted to use TikTok. I've always just been a YouTube Shorts person. So, anyway. Yeah, I do think that YouTube Shorts is going to take over eventually because even though TikTok had a huge surge in popularity a few years ago, alright? It was like the number one app on the App Store for months and months. Um, I, I just, more people still have YouTube, right? So everybody that has YouTube can watch shorts. So amazing structure in Nebraska today. No tornado from what I've seen, though. We did actually have some tornadoes in Nebraska. We had a tornado in Nebraska. We had a tornado in was it Colorado or Wyoming? Wyoming, I think. We had 2 tornadoes, and then we also had a water spout, according to Freddie McKinney, who again was in the stream chat like 30 minutes ago. No, but Roman, we actually did have a confirmed tornado in Nebraska from a different storm. And even like the tornado over the reservoir in Nebraska. No, Roman. It was before we started the stream because I wanted to start up the stream, and then we ran into technical difficulties, and then it happened during that. But the water spout that we had over the reservoir today, it was a tornadic water spout, so you could technically call it a tornado. It's not just like a water spout that would form, over the Atlantic, that would form from even a little rain shower. No, it was a tornadic water spout, meaning if it went onto land, it would not weaken out at all. I may have to do a video explaining the difference between water spouts and tornadic water spouts because I think it's an interesting topic. I did a video I've done a couple videos like that over the past year, but not really my type of thing. I did what is a derecho? I had a video that I recorded about the difference between a watch, warning, and emergency, but I never uploaded that. But yeah, I may start doing some more of these Weather 101 videos. Because I did do what is a derecho. I don't remember if I did any others like that, though, other than that and the watch, warning, and emergency video. Again, that video never got uploaded. Because I figured, there have already been so many people, I think at least dozens of people and news stations and stuff that have made things on that topic, I've seen the taco analogy, the cupcake analogy, where you have the ingredients, but they're not together, so it's a watch, and then you put them together, and it's a warning. Not expecting you to go live at 12 with Freddy in your chat. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm so stoked. That's a thing that just happens now every now and then. That is awesome. And again, it's all thanks to you guys. Because you guys are, again, the ones driving traction to the stream. Alright. I'm not liking the look of these storms here in Kansas. They've had multiple 70 to 75 mile an hour gust reports. We have several counties with significant numbers of power outages. This is a really impressive line of storms to me, and it doesn't look like it's weakening out at all. I was not expecting to see this late. We got dew points in the 60s, temperatures in the 70s, so, I mean, there's definitely a chance that we see this damaging wind threat continue, maybe all the way out towards, Topeka. Got a lot of convection out ahead of this line, too. So, I don't know, man. I'd be watching that. Again, we don't have any, destructive storms or any storms that are rotating, and we're probably not going to, but still just something to watch there, for sure. Can't rule out an isolated 80 mile an hour gust there. We may see a destructive severe warning get issued. This is from Burlington, Kansas, kind of right in the middle of all the action, but there's a dead zone right over them. But you still see, like you just did there, the occasional flash of lightning in the distance. Alright, see ya, Sam. Your cousin's cooked. But, again, I mean, that line of storms is kind of massive. Going all the way from the Concordia area back down towards Dodge City. Not quite to Dodge City, though. Tell Mr. Storm you said hi. Alright, I will for sure do that. But yeah, I mean, this is just really going to charge across central Kansas and maybe even eastern Kansas here. But yeah, I think that I am going to end off the stream here, guys. It's late. It is. Peace. Yeah, so I think we're going to end off things here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Crazy that we have verified storm chasers coming in. That's insane. Anyway, again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in our next Hurricane Beryl update. Peace.